what is life? What's the meaning of life? I bet people weren't expecting it to be so prominent in a Barbie movie, but it's a Barbie movie by Greta Gerwig, so yeah, we go there.
Even if nobody else sings along.
It's terrifying, the idea that we have an expiration date, you know, that our bodies decompose and one day...
You and Greta would get along.
It sounds depressing, but I swear
Let's get on FaceTime.
I have a point.
Greta's gonna want to hear this.
Yeah. You know, our bodies decompose and we are no longer relevant or attractive, maybe because of our age, you know? And I think that happens something similar with Barbie and Ken as dolls, because their entire purpose in life ends when a little girl needs to grow up. You know, it's like, wait, what's next? So while I was watching the film, I thought that decomposition means that you can learn to repair yourself, that you are no disposable, and that you have an impact in other people's lives. It doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter what you do, you have an impact in other people's lives. So I would like to know, Margot, what do you think about that?
I think that was beautifully said, and like we mentioned, you and Greta would have an amazing conversation about all this. I mean, that line in the movie gets a big laugh, like, do you guys ever think about dying? But it is clever because there's no aging in Barbie Land, there's no death in Barbie Land, but without death, you're not also accepting life. And the place this movie kind of gets to is looking at life and how all the things that come with that, which is why I think this movie will be kind of universally appreciated by all audience members. But there's this great scene in the movie that I love so much where Barbie sees age for the first time. She's sitting at the bus stop and she looks over and there's an older woman. And, you know, she's never seen wrinkles. She's never seen a life lived. And she looks over and she says, "You're so beautiful." And then the lady replies, "I know it." And it's like one of my favorite bits in the whole movie. And I think it's indicative of this whole journey Barbie's going on in first seeing what life means and then accepting it. Which, yeah, I think it's something that, it's that question we've been wrestling with since like the dawn of civilization, and I'm sure we'll keep trying to figure it out in movies, like what is life, what's the meaning of life, being scared of death, all those things. I think there's so many movies and stories you can point to that kind of orbit around that very question. I bet people weren't expecting it to be so prominent in a Barbie movie, but it's a Barbie movie by Greta Gerwig, so yeah, we go there.
Do you guys ever think about dying?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, you know, through the movie, and I think just in life, my experience of where you go from there, right? Where you go from, you know, having relevance and importance, and then when that changes and shifts as a woman in this world, as an idea of perfection, it seems that the journey is to create your own value. You know, that kind of mirage of importance and relevance is kind of not real and never is real, and that you can't stake your claim or your value in upholding a projection of yourself, that your sense of value and worth and meaning is deeper and defined by you and who you are, and that is in a lot of ways the message of the film. And I don't want to give anything away, but there's definitely the way that Greta chose to unlock Barbie to get us to that place is a wild ride, and it's unexpected and it's surprising, and it's also just so true, because Barbie is an incredibly influential and dominant icon in the world, globally recognized and globally internalized as this, you know, standard and conversation about womanhood and beauty and success and aspiration. And so, you know, to shift that and to take responsibility for it as humans and say, Barbie does not exist without us. You know, we made her, we give her meaning, and we play with her as children, and then those children grow up. So who do those children become when they've taken in the messages of this very, very dominant global narrative?
Did you bring your rollerblades?
I literally go nowhere without them.
Ryan, I read your interview with GQ and you said something very interesting about how you need to figure it out, that you are good for some things, but you are not good for other things. And at the end of the day, that's fine, because that's the reason why we connect with other people. I don't know how to do this, but you do, so we can create a community. And I'm saying this because it seems like Ken needs a community. His entire existence depends on Barbie, and his job is beach. So it's a very feminist idea that belongs to everyone, not only Barbie, not only women.
Yeah, it's an interesting community, the Kens. They do exist. They were created to reflect the awesomeness that is Barbie. And outside of that, I think they're not quite sure, when they're not able to do that, they're not quite sure how to best use their Kenergy. So, but obviously it's such an interesting question, and speaks to how brilliant Greta is that she would even ask herself that or start this dialogue about the Kens and their experience. I had Kens laying around my house. I never thought very much about it until I read the script, and suddenly I saw their plight and their whole, Greta had such empathy for their experience that it's been, once you kind of see it through that lens, you sort of can't see it any other way. But I'm so curious and excited that the film's coming out now, because I don't want to put my opinion too much on the film, because I think the film is so brilliantly designed, like an amusement park where you don't need a map. You can just ride whatever ride you want to ride. So I want to stay out of the way of that.
But it's Barbie and Ken. There is no just Ken.
This movie makes me think about the little girl I was, and I was thinking like, a kid is playing with a Barbie and Ken, and this kid chooses who they are, Maybe you project that it's your dad, it's your mom, it's your teacher, it's your best friend, and every single day is different. And that made me think that in certain moments in our lives, some people play with us, like you are adult. Especially considering the gender roles, that you can cry because you are a man. You should be a mom and your time is, you need to hurry up. And that kind of things. And then you learn that you take what you need and what is good for you. And that's the lesson from Barbie and this movie. You can decide. You have options.
Yes, definitely. I mean, I love what you said about the Kens as well, because it's, surprisingly, it's like not a movie just for girls and women. You can't talk about femininity without talking about masculinity and how that plays out in our world, and how those labels restrict men as much as they restrict women, and that like no one wins when our existence is defined by meeting some kind of projection, and that is the challenge of being a human. What does it mean? What is it worth? How do you define yourself? And I think if it's defined by other people's ideas of you, it's going to be a hard time.
Thank you very much for your time, and thank you very much.
Thank you. That was amazing. You really should meet Greta.
Your insights on the film.
I want to see that interview.
Thank you. Thank you for the beautiful question.